Hi, welcome back to Nicole's Scrapbook Stories. Today I'm sharing something that truly makes me happy. My first December daily. So I recently attended a weekend retreat and this was the project that I worked on. In this video, I'll walk you through my completed album. I used a 6x8 album that I purchased from Stampin Up, and I used a mix of older paper from my stash along with both new and well-loved stamps. I pulled ideas from Pinterest and YouTube and then blended them together to make my own eclectic version. So when I started this project, I started strong. I did one page a day and I was feeling organized and festive. But as the month picked up and life got busy, I could not keep up that pace. And before I knew it, Christmas Eve had arrived and I hadn't touched the album in weeks. And with the boys getting older, some of the traditions I always look forward to have started to shift. And that hit me harder this year than I expected. I kept putting it off because I wasn't sure how to document a season that felt so different. So fast forward a year, and I was finally ready to sit down and enjoy the process. I focused on stories that brought me joy, little moments, special memories, or even just the weather. Some of the pages are simple, just telling the story, while others are fully decorated and playful. So stick around till the end because I'm going to share with you my plans for this year's December album too.
And my front cover I downloaded from the creative design team. They have a December daily section, and this was one of their free Cricut cuts. And you could also cut out the 2024, the numbers, and I chose 2024, and I cut that out of red glimmer paper. And then on the other side of that is my reason why. Not everybody does a reason why. I know it's something that Ali Edwards does, and I kind of liked the idea, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try that. So I made it out of felt. It is really not pretty. I hand stitched it myself, and then I just cut a circle out of glimmer paper and another circle of white cardstock on top, and hand wrote my reason why on there. And then this is just a piece of acetate I had. It's actually felt on this side, and I thought it made kind of a nice cover. And another free download from the CDT ladies is this calendar. So again, I printed that and add that to my front, or to one of my front pages. This is my table of contents. So I just hand wrote, and not very well, I might add, just kind of what was involved in every day. So, number 1 is all about friends and family. Number 2, time to celebrate, and so on. And you can tell where I started writing at the retreat, because this is the marker that I had brought with me, and this is the color I had at home. I thought I had grabbed the same marker, and unfortunately I did not. That's okay. I'm okay with it. This is definitely an eclectic piece of work here, so we're just gonna roll with it. And I learned a lot doing this. So next year, will be a little bit different. I'll remember these little things. So my first day 1, this is just a Cricut image that I used to print and cut. And I made a little fold here. And day 1, I used November 30th as well as December 1st. And throughout the album, you'll know, or I'll tell you, not every day happened or story happened on that day. It's more of a collection of stories for me. Some of them happened on the actual day. Some of them happened, later or before. It was just how it worked out within the album. Every year I plan the last event for our football team, which is the football banquet. And so this was the thank you card that I got from all the kids for doing that. And then this is our tickets. And this is in a flip flap, but I've got my journaling back there and then more pictures that I don't have permission to show. And that's why there's sticky notes on this one as well. And so that's my day 2. Day 3 is all about my decorations. I got a new Christmas tree this year. I was so excited about. So I just talked about what my color scheme was going to be, because I'm a little bit crazy that way and I like to have different color schemes, and I have a mix of white, brown, and sage green. These are all items that I already had. I keep them in my stash, and whatever I feel like, I have white or gold or silver, and then mix different colors. So I don't go out and buy all new Christmas bulbs or ornaments every year. It's my new tree, and then with my color scheme with rustic elements, because we are all about the rustic flair. And so this is a page that I built again myself, and I just printed a large picture, and so that covers up that. And I didn't do a lot of embellishing, just a few stickers and the printout on a piece of vellum. And then this side is my 4 grateful things. And so I just built some tags and stuck my 4 stories on the tags. You could put it this way or the other way, whatever works better for you, or however you want to do it. But my 4 grateful things at the time on day 4 were spending my son's birthday with him, spending time with family, good food, and then I think it was this one, my comfy slippers and a hot cup of coffee. That's my highlight every morning. I get up early before everybody else and enjoy my cup of coffee. So that's that. And then day 5, I made just a little half page. And if you flip that over, that's all about my husband's Christmas party. So, and I made a little pocket here for my room key. We stayed at the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge, and this was our room key, and it's actually made out of wood. It's carved in there and made out of wood. So pretty special. I wanted to keep that. Don't tell Jasper Park Lodge. So this is some pictures of the event. I hand wrote my journaling. We had some funny shenanigans happening, and then just pictures of my husband and I and some friends. And then the next day, day 6 or story 6, more reflection on what it was like to be in Jasper. This was the first time we were back in Jasper since the fires. They had suffered a huge fire back in the summer. So July 22nd, 2024. And this was a postcard that was in our room, just talking about the fire, the devastation, what they lost, their rebuild plan, and just... So my story ended up being a time to reflect. So I wanted to kind of reflect on that. This is a picture of a gingerbread house that is actually made out of gingerbread. It smells amazing, and it is life-size. So you can walk in there. It is 100% edible. I would not eat it personally, but I guess if you really wanted to, you could just go ahead and take a bite. Anyway, this was a picture from on our way home from Jasper. What a beautiful view of the mountains. I really liked it, so I just printed it one big piece. And so this is one photo, I just made it my page. And so on the other side, one big photo, day 7 or story 7, and we decorated our front porch. And day 8 or story 8, I should say, is all about the ice. So the weekend brought just a whole bunch of rain, and then it froze. So we were covered in a sheet of ice. So it was just about us scraping all the ice and picking all that away, and how much time it took. Story 9, my husband every year likes to make Kahlua. So this is his homemade Kahlua. I wrote out the recipe so that he has it for every year. So he was pretty thrilled when he found out that I had done that, because he couldn't remember where he put it. He wants to make it right away here. He couldn't remember what he did with his recipe. So now we know it's always in here. And I did a little bit of journaling about that, just talking about how much he enjoys doing it and how, how long it takes him to do it, and just a few snapshots of the creative process. And then this is probably my favorite page, story 7, or sorry, that's a 10. Story 10, I made a little pocket. So I saw this on Pinterest. Quite a few, different creators have built something similar to this, and I thought, I need to try that. So this is a record that I cut out the shape out of my Cricut, just a large circle. And then I printed pictures of the albums that I was listening to, let's face it, over the Christmas holiday. So what I was enjoying. And I wrote my journaling here just about my favorite songs and why they are, and kind of the story behind that. And then story 11 was all about, again, the weather. And so this is all about the fog. Story 12 was about me volunteering at the food bank. And these happened to be on the same day. This was my drive to the food bank, and then this was my time at the food bank. So just because it happened on the same day doesn't mean that you can't use it as two different stories. At least I think so. So story 13, I make sugar cookies for all my friends and family. So I usually make about 4 batches. It takes me all day. I don't decorate them as much as I used to. Now I use what's called rolled buttercream. And anyway, that's a tradition. So it's all about that. And then I'm sure you recognize some of these stamps. Day 14 was about volunteering. So the local Canettes, they do a Christmas hamper. This is about us taking the day. We delivered a bunch of the bags to some houses and to some people. And then I also, the week before, spent some time with the Canettes ladies, and I helped build these bags as well. Story 15, we spent the day at the mall, picking up Christmas, doing some Christmas shopping. We went and got some coffee and just spent the day, my husband, my youngest son, and I. And then day 16 is about my wrapping paper. And I built this page from scratch here again. Just a partial page. And I just used some scraps again. And the story is about how every year I like my wrapping paper to match my Christmas tree. Not everybody does that, but I do. And the other side is all about family. We spent some time with some family. And then day 18, again, about the weather. We had a huge snowstorm, so it was a whiteout. So this was me trying to navigate the road home. The snow had covered it so much that it was hard to see it. This was actually taken at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is dark. So unfortunately, our days are quite short. And so it just talks about that. And then 19, watching my channel for a while, may recognize Edna Fairy. This was a school play that we went and watched, and I built a double page spread to talk about this or to document these pictures quite a while ago. And so because it happened in December, I wanted to add it to my daily. And so the story is about that. And then story 20 is about Gingerbread House. My son and I decorated together. He's concentrating very hard there, but every time I turned my back, he was eating the candies instead of putting them on the house. So the finished house does not look very decorated, but that's okay. We had a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. And so I built like a little scene to go with that. And I used some more of the newer Christmas stamp sets, which are so much fun. Love them. And story 21 is about Christmas traditions and what we call the memory tree. This tree is filled with decorations that I'm going to move this over a little bit, that we've collected over the years, that my kids have made. Just special ornaments that mean a lot. Every year we buy a new one that represents all the milestones that have happened throughout that year, so we can reflect on that. And there's the final look there. And then this year, my husband helped decorate it because it's getting a little bit harder to, convince the kids or get our schedules worked out so that we can kind of do it all together. Anyway, so that's that. 22, story 22. This did not happen on day 22. Every year we try to take a family photo, and this was definitely not the best one. I did end up with one that wasn't too bad, but this is the one that cracked us up the most. So it looks like Evan is strangling the cat. He is not, I assure you, but yes, it does look like it. So anyway, the story is basically about, trying to take a family photo, and Evan, why are you strangling the cat? So that's that. And then day 23 or story 23 is about the Christmas lights. So every year we used to, as a family, drive around the neighborhoods and look at the Christmas lights and ooh and ah, and the kids would always look forward to doing that. And of course, now that they're older, it's my husband and I. So he still takes me driving around and honors that tradition, and we go in and look at all the Christmas lights. So built some scenes to go with that, and I like how that turned out. And then I built another, small page, and I used some flip-flops this time for story 24. And this is about Christmas Eve. We spend it with my really good friend and her family, and they cook this amazing Ukrainian dinner that we all gather around and enjoy together. And then every Christmas Eve evening, the boys open one present, and it's always the same thing. It's Christmas pajamas, although over the years it is evolved to Christmas sweatpants or lounge pants because pajamas are not cool anymore. And so this is kind of them opening up the present. So the story is about that. And then story 25, Christmas morning. Every year we make the same Christmas Christmas breakfast. And it's a French toast casserole. It is so good. And so we have mimosas. And so after we open our presents, we have this big meal that's cooking while we're opening the presents. I know, torture. And so that's kind of our tradition. And then here I just put a pocket. So these are what I put my 6x6 papers in. I just order these from Amazon. They're, you get a ton of them. They're quite inexpensive. And so I just use like a red line tape, sequin tape, and I attached it to the back. And then I can now put all my Christmas cards in there. For this year's December Daily, I am switching things up a little, and I ordered a 6x8 album from the Ali Edwards website. But I am sticking with my goal of using up the Christmas theme paper in my stash. I've got a partial pack of the Simple Scrappin' Christmas Lane kit. It is a retired Stampin' Up collection. So that's definitely going into the mix. And then I'm pairing it with the Season of Style DSP, another retired Stampin' Up favorite, along with a 4.5 by 6.5 paper pad called Trim the Tree. So last year I used the birthday celebration dies for my numbers, but this time I'm pulling out a retired Close to My Heart stamp set for my dates. I love blending new favorites with older sets, and I think this combination will give the whole project kind of that classic cozy feel. My numbers ended up being a little large last year, so the smaller stamped dates will leave me more room for embellishing. And of course, I'll be using my new favorite Christmas stamps as well as old ones in my stash. They've been bringing me so much joy this season. And honestly, I'm not going to stress if this album doesn't come together right away. This project is meant to be fun for me, and that's exactly how I'm approaching it this year. So I hope this gave you a bit of inspiration for your December daily. Mine definitely is not Pinterest worthy, but I had fun and I learned a few things along the way. That's a win in my book. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That really supports my channel, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you working on a December daily this year? Until next time, keep telling your stories one page at a time.